Jimmy G this week agreed to a $72.75 million deal that includes $24 million guaranteed in the first year with the Las Vegas Raiders. He is the new signal caller for the Las Vegas Raiders, who, of course, traded away Derek Carr earlier on this year. He's the new man. He's going to have Devontae Adams to throw to. This kind of puts him in a weird place because people were wondering what was the situation going to be with Jimmy G. What was the market going to be like for a guy like Jimmy G, who has had the playoff experience but hasn't necessarily produced at the level you expect an elite quarterback to produce? That's not me. That's just the facts. That's just the stats. It's just what we know to be true. Jimmy G is a very good quarterback. There's no doubt about that. Anyone who will tell you that he's average, below average, all that crap, miss me with that. He's a very good quarterback who has the ability to be great in certain situations. However, there is a ceiling to it, and that's fine because you can win with a guy like Jimmy G. There's no doubt about that. The 49ers, whenever they had Jimmy Garoppolo under center for the entire year, what happened? The dude went to the NFC title game at least, or he took him to the Super Bowl. This is a guy who can win in this league. He's proven he can win in this league, but he's not going to be the sole reason you win. That's a very critical difference between Jimmy G and an elite quarterback. An elite quarterback like a Patrick Mahomes, a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen, a Joe Burrow, he's going to be one of the main reasons you win. Jimmy G is an important important piece of that recipe. However, he is not the main ingredient. He's not Chemical X to the Powerpuff Girls. You know, he's a little bit of sugar, a little bit of spice. Maybe not everything nice, but definitely not Chemical X. So that's how I like to put it. But as far as this move for Jimmy G to Las Vegas, the big question is, did the Raiders improve upon their quarterback position? Going from Derek Carr to Jimmy Garoppolo, I think they did. And that's not a knock on Derek Carr. It's more so a compliment to Jimmy G, what he's accomplished. Jimmy Garoppolo, again, a guy who wins football games. Like, people want to knock him for not being, having the strongest arm or putting up the biggest stats. This is a guy who in, 5 years in San Francisco had a cumulative record of, 38-17 in the regular season in his 55 starts. 38-17 as the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. It's a no-brainer, honestly, for a team like the Raiders to want to sign him. I think that he improves upon the Derek Carr situation because I don't think he's necessarily going to make the mistakes that Derek Carr made, the turnovers that Derek Carr made. I think that they're going to be forced to lean a little bit more on the running game, play a little bit of a different style of football that you probably didn't. I don't know, for whatever reason, they did not play with Derek Carr. The other factor that I think might get lost in this whole situation is the fact that this now reunites Jimmy Garoppolo with his former offensive coordinator in New England in Josh McDaniels. Bet you didn't see that coming. So Josh McDaniels, second-year head coach now of the Las Vegas Raiders, is bringing in a guy who he's familiar with, a guy who he helped mold early on in his career. Remember, Garoppolo, before he went to San Francisco, one of the main reasons that he got the job there and he was traded for a second-round pick back in 2017 was because of his performance in, I believe, 2 starts in 2016, the year that Tom Brady went down with that suspension. Remember, Jimmy G came in. He started a couple of games. He won both those games. That's the reason he became a 49er. And now he comes and it goes full circle back with Josh McDaniels. This was a good move for the Las Vegas Raiders. I really do think so. And I like some of the other moves they made as well. They still have a few things they need to definitely solidify. Along with signing Jimmy G, they re-signed Amir Abdullah to a very, very minimal contract, $1.175 million for a guy who can produce, especially in the receiving game. I think with Jimmy G coming into the fold, they're going to be using Amir Abdullah a lot. On top of that, they put on the non-exclusive tag on Josh Jacobs, star running back Josh Jacobs, who I believe led the league in rushing this year. Now, here's the deal with Josh Jacobs. There's a very good argument, right, about not putting him on the non-exclusive tag, right? Or putting him on the non-exclusive tag. That's fine. I don't think that you lollygag, I think, to this extent where you put the guy who just put up a spectacular year. You put that guy out there potentially for other teams to sign. Either you go in on him, all in on him, or you don't. That's my belief on a guy like Josh Jacobs. Nevertheless, the Las Vegas Raiders have made a decision to allow other teams to basically allow other teams to bid on Josh Jacobs and then for them to match the offer. Either way, I think it's in their best interest, especially right now with signing Jimmy G, a guy like Jimmy G, who we know he can succeed in a system that has a very strong running game. I think it behooves them to add a guy or keep a guy like Josh Jacobs in the fold and help this whole entire pass game reach its full potential. So that's where we are with the Jimmy G situation. That's where we are with the Las Vegas Raiders. Other notes from the